Hundreds of first responders came to Nicholasville today to say goodbye to one of their own who died last week.
The skies are clearing up a little bit, and now the cool air is rolling into the region. We've already lost several degrees since this morning, and it gets worse tonight. I'll track the temperatures.
We are tracking a homicide investigation in Lexington after police say they found a man who had been shot lying in the middle of a road.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 4.
Welcome to WKYT News at 4. I'm Amber Philpott. Jennifer has the day off. It is a nice day in the bluegrass with some sunshine and some clouds out there. This is a look now at downtown Lexington from one of our sky cams. Beautiful shot there, but temperatures have been dropping throughout the day, and we could get below freezing tonight. Our meteorologist Jim Caldwell is tracking the cooler weather on the First Alert Defender. How about it, Jim?
Yeah, think about that. Below freezing. Yesterday, we're in the mid and upper 70s across most of Kentucky, and I'm not just talking a little bit below freezing. We could be in the upper 20s out there by the time we start tomorrow morning off. Gorgeous out there now because the clouds have started to come apart, and that's what we're seeing here on our side of town as well. You were looking at downtown. We're looking over here right over across Winchester Road. We're up to 59 degrees now, with a northeast wind coming in at 13 miles per hour. It gets a little gustier from time to time. We push maybe 20, 25 throughout the day so far. And everybody, very breezy today. You're seeing wind speeds coming in 10, 15 miles per hour, pretty much a common thing across Kentucky, with gusts even higher. As reports come in every hour, they'll get to 20, 25. Look at that one in Covington, up to 30 miles per hour. So a breezy day. Temperatures out there now running generally in the mid and upper 50s. What's going to help us now is the fact that we have some sunshine, but you compare us to London, they're still at 67 degrees as the front is still working its way completely through the region. And tonight, with the skies clearing and the cooler air coming into play, that's where we could dip well below freezing. I'll track that coming up in the full forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, we will see you then. Thank you. Friends, family, and fellow law enforcement officials are saying a final farewell today to a fallen Kentucky police officer. Nicholasville officer Burke Rhodes was killed last Wednesday in a crash on the Guerra-Jessamine County line. His funeral took place this afternoon at Southland Christian Church in Jessamine County. WKYT's Victor Puente has more on how Officer Rhodes is being honored. It's our top story at 4.
The hundreds of people who came here today included a lot of women and men in uniform. They came not only to pay respects to one of their own, but also to assure his family they weren't going through this alone. Most of the cars filling the parking lot here at Southland Christian Church had the name of a city or county on the side. The police officers, sheriff's deputies, firefighters, and EMS crews filled the auditorium. Inside, Officer Burke Rhodes' chief, his pastor, and even his mayor spoke about the man he was and the impact his life had on those around him. They said today it was a celebration of that life. They remembered his sense of humor, his love for his job, and most importantly, his love for his family.
Above all else, Burke was a family man. Every night he proudly ate his lunch from the same blue cooler that his kids had decorated for him with stickers.
The last person to speak at the service was Rhodes' wife, Melissa. She thanked everyone there for lifting up her family and his department. In Jessamine County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
Officer Rhodes will be buried at Camp Nelson. He will have a crew there and will bring much more coming up on WKYT News at 5. A homicide investigation is underway in a Lexington neighborhood. Police responded to a call about a body in the street on Belafonte Drive this morning. At first, police thought the body of Vondre Smithers was hit by a car, but when the 20-year-old was taken to the hospital, emergency crews found that he had been shot. Smithers died at the hospital. Neighbors couldn't believe the scene this morning.
We don't see much of any kind of commotion like that. It's quiet, peaceful, but things happen.
An autopsy will be done tomorrow morning to determine how many times the victim had been shot. We are working on a number of other stories for you on WKYT starting at 4:30. Sam Dick joins us now from the newsroom with a look at some of the news in progress. Hi, Sam.
Good afternoon, Amber. A man accused of stealing thousands of dollars in bourbon appeared in court this afternoon. The Franklin County Sheriff's Office says that Gilbert Kurtzinger had 5 barrels of bourbon from Wild Turkey stashed in his backyard. Kurtzinger was an employee at Buffalo Trace. Police say they're looking for a second person who works at Wild Turkey. We'll have the outcome from court today and the latest in their investigation for that second suspect coming up on WKYT News at 4:30. The Transportation Security Administration, TSA, hopes to educate people on the correct way to travel with guns. Agents went over the rules this morning at Bluegrass Airport. Last year, a record number of firearms were discovered at checkpoints nationwide. 3 have already been found in Lexington just this past year. You'll hear from TSA officials on WKYT News at 4:30. And fans heading to watch UK play in the second round of the NCAA tournament could have trouble finding a place to park. The KFC Yum Center in Louisville is facing a parking problem because of the Ohio River. Floodwaters have claimed some prime parking spots downtown. 3 parking garages and 1 lot have limited spaces because of the high water. The flooding is even making it difficult for the teams to get to the arena. We'll have an update on the situation and what officials are planning to do about the parking situation on WKYT News at 6 o'clock. And that's a look at some of the news in progress. Amber, back to you.
Sam, thank you. Now to some stories making headlines across the nation at 4. In Washington, the head of the Secret Service is in the hot seat, answering questions from members of Congress about the latest scandal involving the agency. Ryan Nobles has a recap of a tense day on Capitol Hill for Director Joe Clancy.
Good afternoon. He's been on the job for almost 6 months. But already Secret Service Director Joe Clancy is dealing with a scandal on his watch.
They're still getting paid.
Yes, sir.
No reduction in pay. No penalties, financial or otherwise, right?
No financial penalties. Sir, I would say that I'm sure they're paying a penalty right now.
Clancy was called to Capitol Hill to explain what happened when 2 agents allegedly drove through an active investigation into a possible bomb near the White House. The Washington Post reported the agents appeared to be drunk, according to witnesses. The new director, who was once a part of President Obama's personal detail, said that he did not learn about the incident until 5 days later.
There's no excuse for this information not to come up the chain. That's going to take time because I'm going to have to build trust with our workforce.
Several members of the House Appropriations Committee expressed frustration that Clancy had not taken swift action to reform the agency, which has faced criticism over its public image.
Not only were we rocked by the White House fence jumper last September, but now we are confronted by yet another unfortunate incident that appears to entail significant misconduct.
Clancy pledged to fix those problems.
My actions are going to determine how that culture has changed, but I don't have the ability to just fire people at will.
That won't stop members of Congress from demanding reform. In Washington, I'm Ryan Nobles reporting.
The Department of Homeland Security's Inspector General is investigating the March 4th incident with the 2 senior agents. House Republicans are proposing to use tens of billions of dollars in additional war funding to get around tight limits on the Pentagon in their new budget plan. House Budget Committee Chairman Tom Price released the proposal this morning, which sets broad parameters on taxes and spending. The latest GOP plan also reprises sharp proposed cuts to the Medicaid program for the poor, food stamps, and health care subsidies under the so-called Obamacare. A prosecutor says authorities found more than a quarter pound of marijuana and a revolver in Robert Durst's hotel room when he was arrested in New Orleans over the weekend. The eccentric millionaire, who was the subject of an HBO serial documentary, appeared before a judge today to face the drug and weapons charges. Durst was charged yesterday in Los Angeles with first-degree murder in the shooting of Susan Behrman, the daughter of a prominent Las Vegas mobster. The cost of renting is going up compared to income. We'll tell you by how much in WKYT Money Watch. And March Madness brackets cost employers millions. We'll take a closer look ahead on WKYT News at 4.